At 78, Jimmie Walker finally tells the truth about Esther Rolle. Jimmie Walker was born James Carter Walker Jr.B. on June 25, 1947 in the Bronx, New York. He grew up in the tough city streets of New York City's South Bronx during the 1950s and 60s. Walker's early years were filled with money problems, something that would later help his comedy sound real and make his acting about working-class people more believable. His mother, Lena, worked as the head nurse of a local hospital, while his father, James Sr., had different jobs and was mostly not around. The hard times of his early childhood helped build his toughness, focus, and his drive to work hard. Walker's learning came not only from school, but also from the lively, sometimes rough streets of New York. He went to Theodore Roosevelt High School and really liked electronics, and later studied at RCA Technical Institute through a government program. Before becoming famous, he worked as a radio engineer, showing how curious he was about how things worked, something that would later show up in the technical parts of his performances, his timing, and how he delivered jokes. Jimmie's start in show business came through stand-up comedy during the early 1970s when he performed at different clubs in New York City. His style was full of energy, super quick, and totally based on what he saw around him. He quickly became a fan favorite in the growing black comedy scene, which was then getting popular through places like the Apollo Theater and TV shows such as The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson and Drowan and Martin's Laugh-In. His sex-hitting personality and perfect comic timing got the attention of television producers, and soon he landed the role that would always define his career, James J. Evans Jr.B., on the hit sitcom Good Times, running from 1974 to 1979. Good Times was one of the first network shows to focus on a black working-class family living in the Chicago housing projects. Walker's acting as Jay, a skinny, fast-talking, wannabe artist with a bigger-than-life personality, made him an instant star. His catchphrase, "Dynamite," became a huge national cultural thing, repeated in households across America and burned into the history books of television. His funny charm and the way he moved his body turned Jay into a breakout character, shooting Walker to stardom and giving him his place in pop culture, even with his success. Walker's time on Good Times was not always smooth. As the show went on, arguments came up between him and co-stars, especially Esther Rolle and John Amos, who felt they'd focus on Jay's silly behavior. Her show's original goal to show a serious, socially aware picture of African-American life. Rolle and Amos were worried that the show had gone from being realistic to being a cartoon, while Walker himself believed in the power of comedy to reach lots of people. While these fights created a sometimes tense and set feeling, Walker continued to give great performances and kept things professional with his role. After the end of Good Times, Jimmie Walker faced the problem of typecasting, something that happens a lot to actors who become too connected with a single famous character. Still, he kept working regularly in stand-up comedy, which stayed his first love. All through the 1980s and 1990s, Walker traveled around the country, performing to packed clubs and building a loyal fan base. He also showed up as a guest on many television shows, including The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, The Drew Carey Show, and Everybody Hates Chris, usually bringing a feel-good old-school charm to his performances. Besides his work on stage and screen, Walker became an important voice in political and cultural talks, known for thinking for himself. He has often said he's a conservative, a position that has sometimes put him on different sides from other entertainers. He has appeared on talk shows and news programs, sharing honest thoughts on race, politics, and entertainment, often in a style as bold and unfiltered as his comedy routines. He published a book about his life in 2012 titled "Oh Might, Good Times, Bad Times, Our Times," where he honestly talked about his childhood, his journey to fame, and the tricky parts of dealing with show business. In 2010, Jimmie Walker, best known for his famous role as J. Evans on the 1972nd sitcom Good Times, made a short but memorable guest appearance in weird comedy film Big Money Rustless. The movie, a Western-themed comedy made by the Insane Clown Posse, had lots of colorful and unusual characters in a strange Old West setting. Walker's appearance, though short, brought so much nostalgic energy and experienced star power to the film. His being there was a nod to fans who remembered him from his television glory days. and his being involved in such a cult-style comedy showed his continuing willingness to step out normal roles and try out weird projects that accepted Thessaly and the unusual. In 2011, keeping up his streak of funeral appearances, Walker took part in the sci-fi channel's over-the-top creature movie Super Shark, science fiction movie, a perfect example of sci-fi's campy and on-purpose secrecy programming during that time told the story of a giant mud-head shark that could not only swim, but also jump on land and attack tanks. Walker played a supporting role in the film, bringing his well-known charm and comic timing to a project that succeeded in its silliness and B-movie style. His appearance added some fun nostalgia to the film, as viewers who had grown up watching him on TV now swim accept the craziness of modern cable horror with self-awareness and a clear sense of humor. More than 10 years later, on May 4, 2023, Walker surprised fans once again with a guest appearance on the long-running daytime soap opera, The Bold and the Beautiful. Though known mostly for his work in comedy, Walker's dramatic guest spot was an interesting change, showing his ability to do different things and his continuing presence in the entertainment industry. His role, while not much screen time, got a lot of attention from both longtime viewers of the soap and nostalgic fans of Walker himself. The casting choice showed the show's desire to bring in veteran actors into its ongoing storyline, and Walker's appearance added both charm and unexpected energy to the episode, besides his on-screen work. 2012 marked an important milestone in Walker's career as he turned his attention to writing with the release of his autobiography, Dynamite. Good Times, Bad Times, Our Times, a book about his life. The book gave a honest and thoughtful look at his life and career, describing his rise from a difficult childhood in the Bronx to stardom in one of television's most memorable sitcoms. In the book, Walker opened up about his experiences in the entertainment industry, his complicated relationship with fame, and his views on race, politics, and show business. He did not hold back from talking about the arguments that happened behind the scenes of Good Times, including his famously strained relationship with co-star Esther Rolle. The book was praised for its honesty, humor, and look into both Walker's personal journey and the bigger picture of American television during the 1970s, also in 2012, showing a forward-thinking way of connecting with fans and digital culture. Walker announced he was releasing his official mobile app for iOS developed by Montigli. The app was designed to bring fans closer to Walker through interactive features, including special video messages, classic clips, and updates about his live comedy performances. The app also included a Dynamite button, letting users hear Walker's signature catchphrase with just that app of a screen. By using mobile technology, Walker showed he really understood how entertainers could stay important in the digital age, reaching both longtime fans and a new generation through cool new platforms. During an honest appearance on The Wendy Williams Show that aired on June 27, 2012, Jimmie Walker opened up about parts of his personal life that had always made fans and the media curious. In a surprisingly honest reveal, Walker said that despite his fame and years in the spotlight, he had never been married and had never had children. This statement surprised many viewers who had thought that the charming actor best known for his role as Jay Evans on Good Times had settled down at some point in his long career. Walker went on to explain, however, that although he had not gotten married or started a family of his own, he had been involved in many romantic relationships over the years. He jokingly said that he had enjoyed the company of many girlfriends, hinting at a fun and colorful dating history, but in the end never found someone he wanted to marry. This confession showed not only his independence but also maybe a deliberate choice to focus on his career and personal freedom rather than a normal family life. A few weeks later, on July 11, 2012, Walker made another headline-making appearance, this time on The O'Reilly Factor, a political talk show on the Fox News channel hosted by the outspoken Bill O'Reilly. In that interview, Walker shared his political views more openly than he had in the past. He said clearly that he had not voted for Barack Obama in the 2008 presidential election, a position that surprised some given Obama's historic status as the first African-American president. Also, Walker said that he had no plans of voting for Obama in the upcoming 2012 election either. His comments started discussion and debate, especially within the African-American community, where Obama had huge support. Walker's position showed his deeply held personal beliefs and his desire to be seen as someone who does not vote along racial or party lines, but rather based on his own judgment. In a separate, more detailed interview with SN, Walker further explained his political beliefs, describing himself as a realist independent. This label has better described his complex views, which often went between party lines and did not line up with any one political movement. Unlike many celebrities who support party platforms, Walker emphasized his commitment to realist mover idealism. He openly opposed affirmative action policies, saying his belief that they had lived past their usefulness. He argued that while such programs may have been necessary and helpful during the civil rights era, they had become unhelpful in the modern era, creating resentment and hurting merit-based advancement. This view put him at odds with many in the entertainment industry and within certain social justice circles. But Walker stood by his opinion, framing it as a matter of common sense rather than political ideology. Walker also discussed his views on one of the most controversial social issues of time, gay marriage. He admitted that on a personal and moral level, he was against same-sex marriage. However, in a demonstration of his independent and practical thinking, he at the same time argued that its legalization should go forward. He believed that the push for marriage equality had become a matter of inevitable change in society, and the effort to resist it was not only pointless, but also unnecessarily divisive. It's not worth fighting against, he said, signaling his understanding of the bigger movement for civil rights and inclusion, even if it went against his personal beliefs. His willingness to separate his private beliefs from public policy showed a measured and mature approach to political discussions that stood out in a time of increasing livid debates. Now at the age of 78, Jimmie Walker, best known for his iconic role as the funny and excited J. Evans on the hit 1972nd sitcom Good Times, has started thinking more honestly about the people and experience that shaped his career and life. In a surprising and heartfelt reveal, Walker has finally chosen to speak openly about his often misunderstood fight with his Good Times co-star Esther Rolle, the motherly force behind the character Florida Evans. For decades, rumors and guessing had swirled about a tense off-screen relationship between the two stars. While their on-screen chemistry was undeniable, many fans didn't know about the deep creative and belief differences that simmered behind the scenes. Esther Rolle was a deeply principled and classically trained actress who saw Good Times as a rare opportunity to present a strong, proud African-American family on primetime television, one that stood in contrast to the caricatures and stereotypes that had ruined earlier portrayals. She viewed the show as a social and cultural milestone and fought tirelessly for authentic storytelling. Jimmie Walker, by contrast, approached the show from a comedian's perspective. With his catchphrase "Dynamite" and his exaggerated humor, he quickly became the breakout star of the series, drawing huge laughs and a devoted fan base. Booth's rising popularity was a double-edged sword. While the audience loved him, Rolle saw his character's antics as a distraction from the show's deeper message and a step backward to the very stereotypes she hoped to erase. For years, Walker stayed mostly silent in their strained working relationship, often offering only neutral or diplomatic responses when asked about Rolle. However, now in his late 70s, he has started to pull back the curtain, offering insights that are both honest and unexpectedly compassionate. In recent interviews and public appearances, Walker has admitted that there was real tension between him and Rolle, but he also expressed a deeper understanding of her concerns and a newfound respect for her integrity. Esther was tough because she cared, Walker admitted. She believed in the mission of the show. I didn't always see it that way back then. I was young, chasing laughs and enjoying the fame, but looking back, I can see she was fighting for something bigger. Walker also revealed that their disagreements were never personal in a mean way, but rather came from fundamental fighter visions of what the show's hold be. He admitted that at the time didn't always understand the weight of what Rolle was trying to achieve. She came from the stage, from drama and social change, he said. I came from clubs, from punchlines and comedy. We were two different energies trying to make the same thing work, despite the friction. Walker now credits Rolle for keeping the show grounded in authenticity, and for demanding that the black family portrayed on Good Times be dignified, resilient, and real. In revisiting their history, Walker has also expressed regret that they were never able to truly make peace during Rolle's lifetime. She passed away in 1998, and although the two maintained purpose and respect, there was a lingering distance that was never quite bridged. If I could talk to her now, Walker said sadly, I'd tell her thank you for standing up for what she believed in, for teaching me even when I didn't want to be taught. She made good times matter. She gave it a soul. Jimmie Walker's reflections have not only given fans a deeper understanding of dynamics on Good Times, but also served as a powerful reminder of the complexity behind fame, collaboration, and the struggle to balance artistic vision with entertainment. His honesty at 78 reveals a man who, while still proud of his comedic legacy, is mature enough to recognize the sacrifice others made to protect the deeper meaning behind their work. In telling the truth about Esther Rolle, he is also telling the truth about himself, and in doing so, finally honoring the woman who helped shape one of television's most important and enduring shows.